that it did come out. So let's get on into this game, guys. We do have it. GSL Daybreak in the top right-hand corner, spawning as the orange Zerg. Well, he says this game sucks. I don't know if I'm going to believe him, though. His name, this game sucks.
Well, to be more specific, it's this game suck.
Oh, okay. There you go.
You know what I'm thinking? I think that his nickname was too long already. You know, he couldn't add any more letters, so he had to settle with this game suck. Seriously.
That is the possibility. And his opponent going to be playing the, what is this, Lilac? The Violet Terran over here in the bottom left-hand corner. Well, his name's not too innovative either. He's Terran.
Yeah, but you know, it's really nice that he chose his nickname because, of course, there are many people who want to choose this nickname, but he was the first one for some reason.
Well, no, with StarCraft, you can actually name yourself whatever you want because you get the codes. The player codes, like yours is 175 or whatever it is, and mine is, 198. So anybody else can name themselves Beef or Sushi.
Well, I sound really stupid right now. I didn't know that. Because, to be honest, I've never seen anyone with something similar to my nickname before.
Well, it's Sushi-licious, so, I mean,
yeah, I mean, that's a really nice name, right? I don't understand why not more people thought of it before.
Exactly, I completely agree. Why don't people name themselves Sushi-licious? And
yeah, although, you know why I changed it to Sushi later on? Like a short story. At first, my nickname was Susilicious, and then I entered the first Warcraft 3 tournament, and then I ended up third place. And then during the prize ceremony, the guy who was Dutch was saying, "Okay, the third prize for Shulla Shulla." You know, he couldn't pronounce it. So then I was like, "Oh crap! This is my first tournament, and the guy cannot pronounce my nickname. You know what? I'll just change it, and then people can."
There you go. I mean, I've been calling myself Beef Pot Pie for a long time, but since then, just kind of shortened it. But, sometimes you just got to make those modifications, and sometimes you got to pull a P. Diddy and just become Puff Daddy to P. Diddy to just Diddy, and then just puh. You just got to shorten your syllables. But let's get into this Zerg versus Terran. Zerg goes for the very early hatch first, and then drops the spawning pool immediately after. Not going to be taking any gas just yet, and did, in fact, get the drone into his opponent's base relatively early, so got some scouting information off there, but didn't actually get up the ramp. There was a good block here by a Terran player.
Yeah, the Zerg still doesn't know whether the Terran is going gas first and maybe reactor Hellions, or going what he's actually doing, command center. So the Zerg is kind of, he's not really sure. So the consequence of this is that he actually has to play a little bit more defensively than he would want to, which is making a few Zerglings or even a Spine Crawler. Because he's simply just not sure. If he doesn't make any defense right now, I would definitely say he's taking a small risk here.
Yeah, he could.
But of course, we know better.
Yeah, sometimes when you're the eye in the sky, you have to know. But he does throw down his gas now, so might be starting to work toward that Zergling speed or getting an early Baneling nest. And our Terran player, as he drops a bunker, doesn't want to take any chances himself. Going to be positioning that so that it's going to defend the mineral line at his natural, as he did not go for any kind of super early aggression, instead just going for that standard 1 Rax expand.
Yeah, and when he's gonna do it after this, we just have to wait and see, but my guess is that he's just gonna go for Reactor Hellions followed by Banshees, and he may even go for Cloak.
Yeah, with those double gases, Cloak is certainly a possibility. And there's the factory. So right next to the barracks, like you expected, going to be going for the reactored Hellions, most likely. I suppose it's still possible to go for a 1-1-1 or something, something crazy out there, but
yeah,
I doubt it.
He's going for the reactor.
Yeah, we'll drop the reactor on the barracks right next to it. And our Zerg player, I mean, this is kind of the build that maybe a little bit more popularized by MVP about 5 months ago after his last IEM debut over at... where was that actually? That was Cologne or Hanover, somewhere in Germany. Made the Banshee opening, just kind of revitalized that build a lot. It's become a lot more common.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, what's the appropriate response here from our Zerg? What's the scouting information he should be looking for, and how does he defend this properly?
Well, before I can answer that question, our Terran player, whose nickname is also Terran, is not going to do this strategy. He's actually going for very early 1-1 upgrades on his bio, and he's adding 2 more barracks right now, which means he's going for heavy bio, and that may not be what our Zerg player expects, because usually when you see some 2 or 4 reactored Hellions, you're going to expect the Banshees coming after that. But as you can see, our Terran player is not going to do that at all. He's going for really early upgrades, so that means yeah, before the, what is it, 13-minute mark or something, he can already have free, and to be honest, I'm pretty scared for a Zerg player by that time.
Yeah, that's a real possibility, and he does have the Baneling Nest down. Okay, so I did just want to make sure that he had the Baneling Nest down, but with Zergling speed out on the map, he's going to be able to get good vision here, and our Zerg player actually doing a great job with his macro thus far, not floating too many minerals. And as he starts to work on the double evos, he's going to hit just enough gas to start his upgrades here momentarily. And there's 1-1 for ground. So that is what he's going to be focusing on, are his melee upgrades. And there's the first engagement here. Zerglings trying to get up on these Hellions, but no, not going to be able to. As a few Zerglings do get roasted. They're going to try to hightail it on out of there. Hellions close in chase, though, and they're going to be able to take some map control.
Yeah, and from the looks of things, I think our Terran player is going to do a really big bio push. And he's not going to do it at 1-1 because by that time his army is not big enough yet. He may do a 2-2 timing. And usually what Terran players do then is they add some siege tanks, but he still has the factory on a reactor, so he's not going to be able to make some siege tank in the near future. So what exactly our Terran player is going to do as a strategy, I'm not sure about. He's even adding some Marauders here. I think he just may go for some old school reactored Hellion Marauder, yeah, and this time added with a lot of Marines. Some timing attack or something. What do you think?
I think it's possible. I mean, this would be a kind of an odd composition, but it really does seem like he's about to go Marines Marauder medevac. Super, super old school, and needs to get a tech lab down on that factory at some point if he wants to incorporate tanks. But so far, not doing that. Instead, dropping the armory so that he's going to be able to continue his upgrades. But our Zerg player on the other side of the map doing a great job with his creep spread. He's already got the infestation pit down, starting on Baneling speed as well as his pathogen gland, so doing a great job of keeping his upgrades going as well.
Yeah, and there's another thing which is going on, which is really important. Our Terran player only has 44 Harvesters, while our Zerg player already has 74. This is insane.
That's a pretty big discrepancy there. So I mean, our Terran player, he's still producing SCVs. He had cut SCVs there for a moment, and they're going to take a look now and try to figure out what's going on. Did get a pretty decent look at some of the Marines and especially the Marauders. So the Marauders should kind of give away a little bit of what's going on here. And what's the Zerg's appropriate response now?
Well, Terran players never make Marauders unless they're going to attack you. So at the moment the Zerg sees the Marauders, he just has to go all unit mode, you know. The Terran has to hit a timing, and in this case I think he's gonna hit before his 2-2 even finishes, so he's not gonna have an upgrade advantage. But our Zerg player is already making some infestors. He has Baneling speed, yeah, a decent number of Zerglings, but he just has to make mass Zerglings, and by the time the Terran goes up to the creep, he just has to surround the army and take the battle and win it. I think our Terran player just doesn't have the army size now required to win a battle which is upcoming.
Yeah, it's a very, very small army. I mean, you can get 90% of that army inside of one fungal. And that would be a very, very bad time. Our Zerg player now moving up. Going to be looking for that fungal. And there it is. Gigantic fungal. Going to be able to chain down all of those units. And Terran just gets obliterated right there.
Yeah, that was perfectly done by the Zerg player and not so well paid attention by the Terran player. He was just walking on creep. The Zerg had vision. Yeah, especially with the army size that he had, he wouldn't win the battle anyway, even if he wanted to, even if he was off creep. So, yeah, that wasn't really the best tactical decision to stand around over there. Although I must say I'm surprised about how it went, because he just doesn't have an army. The Zerg could just walk in the natural and just take the game right here.
Just getting destroyed. Infested Terran's going to be going down as well. The bunkers housing 4 Marines going to try to do their best, but not going to be nearly enough. SCV's getting blown up by Banelings right here, and this is certainly going to spell doom for Terran. Zerg player just going to try to get in there, and there it is. GG!
GG.